What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. Hey, Jason, loving the content analysis. The Warriors clearly aren't championship contenders, and the lack of a trade deadline move confirms that this season is a wash. Although the athletic lineup of Wiggins, Kuminga, and Green has dramatically improved their playoff chances, what's the next move for the Warriors in the offseason so that they do not waste another year of prime Steph? Is it making a big splash trade or making multiple moves for better role players? So, good question. I disagree with the first thing about them not being championship contenders. Here's the thing. Do they have a legitimate bona fide superstar? Yes. Is the defense good enough? It has been as of late. We'll see in a larger sample size, but it has been. Jonathan Kuminga scored 20-plus points in 10 of the last 14 games, if I remember correctly. So they're getting some pretty good secondary production. They have a really deep core of perimeter defenders now that Gary Payton is back. They have a versatile defensive front line that can both switch and run traditional pick and roll coverages. They check a lot of boxes. Now, do they check as many boxes as some of the teams that are above them in the standings? No, of course not. But I think it'd be foolish to count them out because I think beyond Denver, there's a bunch of red flags. Like Boston can be out executed down the stretch of games. Minnesota can be out executed down the stretch of games. Milwaukee might really struggle to contend on the perimeter. Like the Clippers can't defensive rebound and they rely on pull-up jump shots and can be bullied by bigger front lines. The Lakers have no point of attack defenders. The Phoenix Suns can struggle in physical environments, although they signed Thaddeus Young today. So they're starting to add some physicality to their lineup. But every team has giant red flags. So to me, if Denver had do I think Golden State would beat Denver? Probably not. But if a significant injury happens to one of the Denver starters, then it's wide open. And I think at that point, Golden State has as good a chance as anybody else. And so, again, it's a small chance, but I think writing them off is silly. Now, building from this into the future, I think the biggest thing that they're going to have to look at, I would love to see them get another movement shooter. Specifically, with the way that they run their 5-out offense, you've got a lot of Steph running off of these actions and drawing multiple defenders and causing these openings for the athletes to succeed on the backside. But Klay Thompson, who's been playing better as of late, but as Klay Thompson ages out, Brandon Podziemski is a guy who can shoot, but he's not a guy who comes aggressively off screens looking to shoot. It would just be interesting to see them add another option on that front. I think it's all depth at this point. Really, whether or not they can win a title will come down to Jonathan Kuminga's development. Give him another year, maybe another playoff run this year to get reps in a playoff setting for him to identify what his weaknesses are at a better level. Get better at jump shooting, get better at reading double teams. To me, it's going to be on the margins at this point, and then Jonathan Kuminga's big picture improvement. But yeah, if I had to pick a specific archetype to look at just in terms of their shot creation, with how athletic their front line is, getting another movement shooter, another higher level offensive guard into that mix, I think would go a long way to helping them. Even just what if they made a move on the margins this summer for somebody like a Gary Trent Jr., for instance, would be a pickup that I think would be really helpful for them. Hey, Jason, thanks a lot for answering my mailbag question. I'm going to try my luck with another one. In your opinion, how should contact to jump shooters be officiated? Can contact to the arm at the end of the release, which goes uncalled a lot, impact the follow-through as well as the result of the shot? Should shooters be called for an offensive foul if they contact the defender as a result of landing unnaturally in order to avoid injury when he is clearly about to land in their landing area? What should even be considered the landing area? If we want to avoid injury to shooters who jump forward, but they shouldn't get an advantage over shooters that go up and down by forcing defenders to close out shorter in order to not foul? How should refs differentiate natural and precautionary motions from flops and unnatural foul grifting? Should defensive players be called for a foul if kicking the leg on a fadeaway shot contacts them when they close out under control and can't create any additional contact? So I'm pretty down the middle on this. I think contact on the forearm on a follow-through should be called every single time. It's just when you look at the finesse element of jump shooting, especially difficult jump shooting, you should not the slightest tap on the forearm can cause the shot to miss by 3 feet. It matters too much. And for the most part, I feel like refs at least have their eye on that sort of thing. But the landing area thing, I 100% agree with you. I do understand that there are certain players that do have a natural kind of move forward on their jump shot. And it's one thing, and this is where I think discretion plays a role. It's one thing when you see a player jump up and land like 1 foot in front of where he took off and the dude comes up underneath him. Yeah, that should be a foul. But when it's a comical one, like some of these James Harden step backs when he was with the Rockets, he would literally jump and then in midair be like at a 45-degree angle as he landed forward and then fell. And you're like, that's just bullshit. It's not basketball. It's not. Nobody would ever shoot like that unless they were trying to grift their way to the foul line, right? And so that to me is the delineation. Like the landing area, they need to tighten that up a little bit and give the refs the discretion to not call it if the player's doing janky stuff. Same goes for even like on that foul, that really bad one at the end of the game against the Knicks yesterday. Like one of the things that happens is like if Aaron Holiday's shooting that play in a shot in a pickup game, there's no contact there. When he sees the closeout coming, he's kind of like leaning into it a bit and like kind of like taking that contact. It shouldn't have been a foul. And then also, if you look at it, it's a prayer. It's like he's throwing up a prayer and the ref is jumping on it as an opportunity to end the game at the foul line. And so in general, just the discretion has gone the wrong way too often this season. And I'd like to see them clear that up. Also, while I'm bitching about refs, there was a Kenyon Martin Jr. dunk in the Sixers game where he got called for a tech, and that was ridiculous. And the refs just simply have to be stopped. Next question. Genuine question for you, Jason. What's your opinion of LeBron launching the ball straight into Jamal Murray's face from point blank? I know you saw it. Now let's address it. And I'm excited to see how you would spin it. Because if that's the other way around, you would have condemned it like you always do. One rule for LeBron and Draymond and another for Dylan Brooks. This is the most ridiculous mailbag question I think I've ever gotten. If you actually think LeBron threw the ball into Jamal Murray's face on purpose, I don't know what to tell you, man. I literally don't even know how to respond to that. Next question. When talking about Oklahoma City, can you ever just give a small shout out to Jalen Williams? Like it comes back last night and balls out. Yes, Giddey and Dort are slumping, sneaking in a J-Dub shout out sometimes. Sheesh. So here's the thing. J-Dub's one of my favorite young players in the league. I was actually talking with Sam Vecini on the phone the other day. And everyone keeps like talking about, including myself, Jaylen Brown that can pass, Jaylen Brown that can pass. And Sam Vecini threw out the name Jimmy Butler as a comp for him. And I love that comp because he's just an insane competitor. And he has that like big kind of playmaking forward type of vibe who can also be a really, really good defensive player. Huge fan of J-Dub. Talked about him a lot this season. Those of you guys who have followed the show. That said, one of the things that happens is I'm trying to give you 8 to 10 minutes on a game, so that I can hit 3-4 games in a day, right? Whereas, like, when I was covering the Lakers solely, I could go 40 minutes on every single game. I did go 40 minutes on every single game immediately after the final buzzer because I was just covering the Lakers. So, like, a lot of times, like, I choose to highlight specific things. That was a power rankings video. I was trying to get 30 seconds on the Thunder. There are going to be longer form. There's going to be a lot of longer form Thunder content down the season, and Jalen Williams will get plenty of a plenty large portion of the show, if that makes sense.